Hi everyone, it's Lauren Padlo with Montague Miller and Company. We're here today doing another Q&A with a real estate related professional. Today I have Mike Sadler, the president of Charlottesville Area Builders. So Mike, why don't you tell me a little bit kind of about your experience, your background, and all of that?
Sure. So I am the third generation of Charlottesville Area Builders. The company started back in the early 1980s when my grandfather started it. Then my father came on in the late 90s and took it over. And then I took it over about 4 years ago. And so it's been part of my growing up, and I've enjoyed it and am honored to have been able to take on the business.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Local company, local family-owned company, that's something that, people really love and like to go to because, it supports the community and all of that. So that's really wonderful. What types of homes does your company specialize in building?
We are completely custom, and the majority of our homes are in the 500,000 to 1.5 million. We do complete homes that are above that range, but that tends to be a comfortable area and commonplace for our homes.
Okay. And as far as, there's some building companies in the area that take like a full area of land and kind of separate it out. Do you do that, or are you more someone buys some land and...
Sure. So we wouldn't consider ourselves developers. We work in subdivisions occasionally,
Okay.
but we wouldn't set out to take down property, subdivide it, and create a subdivision.
Okay.
We really enjoy that one-on-one relationship with our clients. So the majority of time, our clients they'll either be searching for land or already have land. And if they're searching for land, we can help them identify any issues that might be with the property, or most importantly, designing the house to the piece of property that they're looking for or already own.
Okay. And that kind of leads us into, do you want to go into the process of, from start to finish, how that goes?
Yeah, exactly. So a client will reach out to us and we'll talk about their vision, their target budget, and if they have land, we will talk in more detail about that. If they're looking at 1 or 2 land parcels, then we might take a visit out to those properties and see which one matches best with their vision and budget.
Okay.
From there, we can engage the appropriate individuals to help us with soil studies, any surveying that needs to be done, and any geotechnical work that might need to be done to make sure that the property works for that build. Then at that point, we can move into the design phase where we are creating that house that will work well on that parcel. And we will talk about every square foot in the house and can build anything from craftsman to a farmhouse to completely contemporary style home.
And so obviously COVID has affected, all industries, real estate related and not. How has COVID affected the building process and all of that?
When the pandemic first became newsworthy, I think we were all very nervous as to what was going to happen. And one would think that you have a pandemic and you wouldn't want to build a house. And so we were bracing for the impact, similar to what we felt maybe back in that 2007, 2008 timeframe.
Yeah.
When before the pandemic, things were continuing to get better and better in the building industry, and we were all feeling good.
Yeah.
So we held on, and very quickly saw that there was continued interest in building. Interest rates continued to get better and better, and everyone now wanted to build a house. So we find ourselves very busy right now, and in a time where things are very challenging in different markets. So this has been this has been only a boost for new construction and building across the board.
That's wonderful. And definitely with, there being such low inventory right now, people are flocking to new construction because, if they can't find what they want in the few homes that there are, they say, you know what, why don't I just build something that I will like? So that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. So when you finished a home, is that kind of the last contact you have with your clients, or do you continue to, follow them through living there, and do you have a home warranty and all that?
Sure, great question. We start a relationship with our client even 6 months before we start building their house. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes the build itself may take 6 months to a year. So you've already developed a relationship with this client for a year, and then we have a 1-year warranty period where we're continuing to reach out to them on a regular basis. They're reaching out to us with questions about new home ownership and any concerns they might have about the house. So we really are starting and continuing a relationship with clients. Over 2 years, we're talking on a very regular basis, and then even after that 2-year period is up, we're still talking from time to time, and they'll reach out with questions, and it's really a friendship that develops.
I'm sure. And, building a house it's a big ordeal, especially, it's a lot of things to choose. Problems can come up. I'm sure they don't that often, but, you're working through the good and the bad, the hard decisions and all of that with someone, and so I'm sure you grow very close during that time. When you finish a house, do you go through the house and kind of teach someone about the house? This is what you do with this and that?
Absolutely. So we have a final walkthrough at the end of the project. Mm-hmm. And this is the final walkthrough where we've had multiple meetings with the client prior to that during the different phases of construction. Mm-hmm. But the final walkthrough is really more ceremonious, where we're walking through the house. We're just enjoying being there with them now that it's complete. But at the same time, we are talking about ongoing maintenance and just things like changing your filters every month and your smoke detector batteries every 6 months. And just going through those things that, as they're living there, what they can expect, and things that they need to work on as far as ongoing maintenance.
What is your favorite part of the building process?
Favorite part of the building process? I think there's two answers for that for me. One is building that relationship with that client and working with them to create a space where they feel safe and are spending the majority of their time when they're not at work. Mm-hmm. And getting to know them and understanding what they need that brings a lot of satisfaction for me. And again, continuing that relationship with them, when you see them out in town or run into them at the grocery store, it's nice to have that relationship with someone.
Yeah, it's more than just we're building a house and all that. There's a lot of, face-to-face interactions. It's really a people business that you're working in.
Right.
Same as a real estate agent.
Sure. And then secondly, it is taking just a piece of property that to the normal person might just look like woods, mm-hmm. and creating something there that, one, adds to the landscape, adds to the existing community, and just goes from something to, or nothing to something. And it's fun creating that with the client's vision in mind.
That's really awesome. Yeah. For a lot of people, I'm sure budget comes up a lot. How do you try to keep people within budget while still, creating their dream home?
Sure. So we will talk about their wish list. what are your must-haves in your house? What are your square footage requirements? And we can prioritize what is most important, and then option those things out so that they can pick and choose what to add now, maybe what to add later, if the target budget doesn't allow for us to include everything during the build. So oftentimes we will leave a basement unfinished, but of course we'll prep for that with rough-in plumbing, and we'll already have a layout so they can complete that at any time. We'll do that with bonus rooms as well, or detached garages. We can prep for those spaces, even pour a slab so that that can be added very easily in the future. So we understand that costs will always be rising, and we won't be able to have everything maybe that we want to have in our house, but down the road we want that client to be able to include those things at just the right time. So for another example might be, we want to have a pool. We don't want to do that now, but we want to do that later. We want to map out the location of that pool. We want to ensure that there's no utilities, whether it be electric or the well line or the septic system. We want to make sure that those are all in separate areas away from the pool space, and leave that area undisturbed so that they can revisit that when they're ready.
That's really cool. So it's wonderful that you plan those things beforehand, so it's not a huge headache later on to add those things on. And would you be the people that come back and help finish the basement or anything like that?
Yes, we're always happy to come back and help our clients finish off those spaces that we had planned initially, and using those same individuals who worked on their home to come back and complete that certainly makes the most sense. We're familiar with the project, and all the tradesmen that have been there are very familiar as well. So
yeah, kind of completes the style as well, keeps with the style of the home as well.
Exactly.
All right, so one last question before we wrap up. What is your best advice for someone wanting to build a home?
Best advice would be, think about the space where you are currently, and consider the things that you like about your house or the place that you're renting, and think about the things that you would want to change. And that might be something as simple as the light switch on the outside of the closet versus the inside of the closet, or something more dramatic where you really want to have a basement, or you really want to have a certain design element in your new house. So be very thoughtful ahead of time, because in many cases we are on a particular timeline in order to build a home, because carrying two mortgages isn't feasible for many clients, and we wouldn't want to do that anyway if we can avoid it. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we're securing land, designing the house, building the house, and having that client move in seamlessly. So a lot of times that process can move quickly, and the more thought that you can put into that ahead of time, the better, so that we can make sure that we include all of those things that you're looking for in the home, as well as plan for the things that you would want to include down the road.
That's wonderful advice, and I'm sure people at home will really appreciate that. And I just want to thank you so much for coming here today and answering questions with me and just providing all of this information. It's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.